the end of that game and said how he called timeout and the ref didn't hear him, so he got kind of antsy, which a coach probably would. And then the referee called unsportsmanlike conduct to give Atlanta a first down and just end the ball game like that. That wasn't right. You should have let that man. You should have let him have it. Would have been 3rd and 1, I believe, and should have gave New Orleans a chance to at least still use their last timeout and potentially have a shot to get the ball back and at least try to make a field goal quickly. But they didn't have no chance at all because the referee called unsportsmanlike conduct on the coach. And long story short, over the weekend, a few games that I did kind of glance at, referees are starting to kind of kill the game. Like, even in that Saints game, there was a couple of calls like, bro, you can't be serious. Now, there was a few blatant calls because once they started putting them fresher bodies in who not really used to playing them bigger roles, they wasn't playing well, in the secondary. There was a couple of more holes. But at the same time, that roughing the passer earlier, I think on Cam Jordan, that wasn't a roughing the passer. He barely touched Matt Ryan. There was so many calls, I think, that didn't go New Orleans' way, and it was going Atlanta way. It almost make you feel like the rest was on Atlanta's side and just didn't give New Orleans enough. Even when New Orleans had a chance to win the game, it just wasn't their game. But we gonna see them bad boys in about 2 weeks. And I know it's going to feel like a pep rally in that Superdome the day before Christmas. So I can only imagine, especially this week. We're going to talk a little bit about this week because on the bigger news, Josh McCown for the New York Jets is out for the rest of the year because he have a thumb injury with his 9 throwing hands. So probably who's going to get to start this week will be Bryce Petty. And the offense was, to me, how well Josh McCown's been playing. I believe he had 18-8 this year, 18 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, is not too bad. And to say Petty gonna get the shot, and I'm not saying Petty can't be the man for the Jets going forward, but now New Orleans got to take advantage of this and eliminate the Jets and continue to get the 10 wins and be prepared for the following week and eliminate these dirty birds. I want to say something else, but I'm not. But I'm gonna say it like this: eliminate these dirty birds because they don't deserve to be in the playoffs, in my opinion. And they haven't been playing their best football this year. Just like Carolina. I don't think Carolina deserves to be in, but they probably will get in. But Atlanta do not deserve to get in the playoffs this season. And I'm sorry, because the best team in the NFC South is the New Orleans Saints. And what they was able to do this year from starting off 0-2 and to have an 8-game winning streak. Yes, they dropped one to the Rams, and I know they dropped one to the Falcons. And some people will argue and say the Saints haven't beat nobody this year that's playoff worthy. Yes, I know that Rams game hurt and that Minnesota Viking game hurt. But also some people feel like they couldn't beat New England. So a lot of people will look at the 4 losses that they have and will wonder if they even worth having a chance to make a run to playoffs. But there is a season sweep over the Carolina Panthers. So all y'all haters out there, y'all can go ahead and suck it easy. Because at the end of the day, I know my team have a chance. And we got to handle our business for the next 3 weeks of the season to wrap up this division. And also, because now what I'm about to head into next is Carson Wentz is out for the rest of the year. So how this injury is going to affect the NFC. Now let's talk about this. Donovan McNabb, who's really an idiot. He has to be an idiot. Donovan McNabb on First Take this morning. And McNabb said he believes that Carson Wentz, it hurts that Carson Wentz is no longer going to play for the rest of the year with an ACL injury. Fine. But at the same time, he still say, now let's go back and talk about Nick Foles. Let's remember, Nick Foles, was the man of Philadelphia when Chip Kelly was running the system. Nick Foles is a Pro Bowl quarterback. Nick Foles' number, I believe, is 56-26. 56 touchdowns and 26 interceptions. He had a 7-touchdown game one time. Let's go back and remember this. Nick Foles was the man at one point in time in his career. He led them to the playoffs against the Saints. And the Saints won that game by kicking a field goal as time expired. So, let's go back and think a little bit. Can New Orleans potentially be the team to beat? He said no, because he said, in his words, they got to play the Falcons again, and they also got to play the Carolina Panthers again. You idiot. You idiot. The Saints took the season series from the Carolina Panthers. They have to play the Jets, the Falcons, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to end this season, potentially trying to make a playoff run. Now, what I'm trying to get to now is New Orleans, to me, if they can prove themselves for the next 3 weeks, for sure, handling their business, I think they could beat one of the teams to beat. Because the thing about the Rams, I know the Rams got a win from New Orleans, but that was also, once again, injuries happened. Marshawn Lattimore didn't play. Ken Crawley didn't play. So the Saints were playing with some backups. Offensively, they didn't play well. They didn't play too well that day. But I think if they play the Rams again, I think it'll be a whole different ball game. Especially, they'll know what they're getting themselves into, and plus they have their weapons back in the secondary. The biggest thing about this football team, I think, is secondary players really, really, really have improved from an F to a solid B. And I think that's what's helping this team gonna make a run in the playoffs. Now they gotta handle their business for the next 3 weeks, but that's what's gonna help this team make a run in the playoffs because of the secondary play. Now, the Rams, could they be the team to beat? I'm not too sure. Jared Goff he's solid. He's getting better. I can't lie about that. But I don't know if Jared Goff gonna be the man that I'm gonna really trust to have a chance going into the NFC Championship game. Don't know. Could Minnesota, Case Keenum? Now I still respect what they're doing. The best backups in the game to me gotta be Case Keenum and also Nick Foles right now, who are in the 1 and 2 spot in the playoffs. That is crazy, mind blowing. Minnesota, they are hot. They play well. They got a little exposed yesterday. They did, but good teams that happen sometimes. Now next week they got to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Could Minnesota be a team? Possibly. Ain't no telling. Philadelphia's still gonna be there. If Seattle, I have Seattle beating the Rams this week because Seattle know it's a must-win situation going forward. So I got Seattle winning next week. So the Rams starting to fall. I have them falling. The Saints gonna probably potentially, if they handle their business, move up to the 3 seed next week. Aaron Rodgers come back next week against who? The Carolina Panthers. I'm expect a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. You see where I'm going with this, guys? The NFC is, to me, without Carson Wentz. Now it all depends, because I know the Eagles have to play the Cowboys one more time. But without Carson Wentz, I think this division is going to be wide open for anybody to take. It's just going to be the man who wants it more, going to step up more, and they're going to prove why they want it more in the playoffs. So I'm going to go out on a limb. I know New Orleans lost to Minnesota this year, and I know New Orleans lost to the Rams this year. But if they finish in the 3 spot, I like where they're at. And I like if they got to go take on Philly in the second round early, go handle your business. Because you never know what can happen in the conference championship game. Go handle your business and go from there. I think this team is on the verge, and I'm not going out on a limb, but I think the Saints are on the verge. If they can finish hot, they can really make a potential run. Make a run. We gonna wait and see. I think quarterback play has to be a little bit better. We haven't seen the Drew Brees of old this season because he's been protected more with a solid offensive line, and also the offensive line has been maulers and run blocking. So he really haven't been asked to really do the 4 and 5 touchdown performance game. So it's not in his nature this season. But at the same time, I want to see him take over and carve up a team one more time. And if this can carve up teams in the playoffs and make a run for a Super Bowl, well, by God, let's go for it and let's do this. The time is now. The time is freaking now. You got to do it now or before it gets too late. So I still believe that the Saints got some juice left in them. But they got to handle their business this week. Like I said, the Jets, I have the Saints as, to me, in my opinion, I know the Vegas didn't come out with the odds yet, but I have the New Orleans Saints as the 9-point favorite this weekend going against the Jets. Probably more when Vegas see that Bryce Petty going to start. But in my opinion, I give them 9-point favorite for sure to beat the Jets this weekend. And I just hope a lot of guys who are hurt, like Vaccaro and Klein and all these other guys, if they're going to play, give them limited minutes and let themselves get healthy, because the big game going to come the day before Christmas. If the Saints can give us 11 wins on Christmas Eve as a present going into Christmas Day, I would take it. That would be the best present in a long time that this football team has given this city and this state in a long time. And to potentially lock up a playoff berth on Christmas, that's going to be the best thing that happened to New Orleans going forward. So we got to wait and see what's going to happen with that as well. Now let's talk about the just around the league yesterday. We had a snow globe in Buffalo. You saw how like little kids was out there playing football yesterday. Dallas wound up beating the Giants, so to stay relevant as they go into the Sunday night game this Sunday against the Oakland Raiders. New England do play tonight against the Miami Dolphins. Not really too concerned with that. But let's talk about the Cleveland. Oh, man. The Cleveland Browns. Jesus Christ. Just like, I don't know what else to really say about Cleveland. Cleveland had a 14-point lead over the Green Bay Packers. Potentially could have eliminated the Packers to not making, he's having a chance to make the playoffs, and Cleveland gave it up. And now the Packers, who's coming back next week to potentially have Aaron Rodgers, won in overtime 27-21 over the Cleveland Browns on yesterday. So guess what my prediction is now? We are on the verge. We're about 2 weeks away from the Browns having won a football game in a whole calendar year this season. I'm going to say it like this. A lot has happened in a calendar year. Last year, Barack Obama was the president. Now we got a new president in a new calendar year. It was December 24th. The best present that the Browns gave the Cleveland community last season was they won against the San Diego Chargers at the time, last year on Christmas Eve, not to go 0-16. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to go on verge and say it. And they play hard football games, but I'm going to say it, I think this team is officially on their way to being 0-16, and Hugh Jackson's about to be 1-31 in his first 2 years as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Jesus Christ. God bless the Cleveland Browns, because they need you, Lord. Lord, they need you more than they ever needed you before. Father, I pray that you bless them in the name of Jesus, because they need some help. You know that song that's in that movie with Taraji P. Henson? She said, "Oh, Lord, I want you to help me." Well, Lord, I want you to do this for me. Oh, Lord, I want you to help the Browns. Hey, help them on their journey. Please, Lord, help them on their way. Oh, Lord, I want you to help them. Because it looked like even, I don't know if Jesus Christ came over and took over to be the quarterback of the Browns, and he can at least still help the Browns to be at least decent in the AFC North. I'm so tired of seeing Cleveland being so terrible, but we just gotta accept the fact. It's just, oh God, help, God bless the Cleveland Browns, man. One of these old days, this team's gonna be relevant again in the NFL. I promise you, they will be relevant again. And I told you first. My last thing I'm gonna talk about will be the Pelicans. The Pelicans did suffer their worst loss over the weekend on Friday night against the Sacramento Kings, and how that was because they blew a lead against the Sacramento Kings on Friday. Now, what I got to say about that is the game did go into overtime. It was 116-109. 116-109 as well. 116-109. Now, New Orleans did win yesterday against the Philadelphia 76ers, 113-124. So the Pelicans on Friday, they took on the Kings, and they lost 116 to 109. And like I said earlier, it was potentially the worst loss of the season because it wasn't by the points.